introduction to most of the people in this room, and also doesn't need a microphone. Because we are getting another sound system, okay? So we're going to move to Michael Mulgrew.
A wonderful thing that at an AFT convention you have a room like this discussing this subject.
Yes. Yeah.
This was not the environment 2 years ago or 4 years ago. So that says a lot about all of us as union leaders, because we have to recognize the fact that everyone in this room is a union leader in their local. We all understand, if you're here tonight, you understand that our strength is now in organizing with community. Every state has different laws. Every state has different legislatures, governor's rules, how they get their budget done. We know we have a lot of enemies who are very smart with a lot of money, who will leave no stone unturned in trying to kill teacher unions in their states. That is not debatable as far as I'm concerned, and if you don't believe that, you shouldn't be in this room. This is not easy stuff anymore. It's life or death for our public school systems and for so many of our members.
That's right.
So first you have to analyze what is your situation. What can they use to hurt you in your individual level? I always talk to Karen. Karen and I talk a lot. I can't stand the fact that she's a Democratic state and the Democrats are killing Karen. It drives me nuts. And there is no such thing as far as we are concerned at the UFT in terms of what party you belong to. It is very simple. Are you with the corporate reform agenda or are you with community and teachers? That is the line we fight everything. My mayor, the old mayor, we knew what he was doing. He wanted to take his education agenda, use New York City as a way to amplify it, and to spread that, use that with everybody else and spread it across this country. It is no coincidence that 2 months before Rahm Emanuel became mayor of Chicago, he was in Lake Tahoe with Michael Bloomberg, who was telling him how he'd be there to support him and help him with his education agenda. So when our mayor went to Washington, D.C. and bragged, because remember Arnie Duncan, remember he was going to close the worst schools, the worst schools, the worst schools? And Arnie Duncan said, we need to close the 100 worst schools in the United States. Michael Bloomberg, standing right next to him, say, Arnie, I'll do you one better. I'll close 200 schools in New York City. Now, a lot of the media wasn't paying attention to that, but that got my attention since I was president for 4 months. I said, I know clearly where this man is going. He's going to close the schools. He's going to use the state legislature. He's not going to bargain with us. He's going to try to change our seniority rights, LIFO. He's going to try to change the rights of an individual school if he closes it. He's going to go after laws at the state level. So we decided 2 things at that moment. One, every time Michael Bloomberg went to close a school in New York City, we would make it like he was going for root canal or the proctologist, whichever one was worse. And the only way we could do that was by working with the teachers and the parents at the school that was affected. All right back there. We can hear you that, nothing else. It's good. The other piece was our state legislature. It's set up in New York State that the governor has all this control during the budget. But he has to have both, he can play the Senate off of the Assembly. The problem was our state Senate had 4 really bad, what I call defers, in their house. So we said we were going to figure out a way to start changing the political landscape of the state Senate. And there was 2 ways to do it. One, take out a Republican. New York State at that point, 99.8% incumbents count around. Now he went longer, I got to go longer. So, So we found a 33-year incumbent in Queens and found out that he was not paying attention to his own district. He was servicing the part of the district that was always there. He forgot and didn't recognize the fact that there was a whole new part of his district that was diversified. So we went out there, we got them all registered, they showed up on vote day. It was the UFT against every other union in our city and state. It was one union that stood with this candidate, and we took out a 33-year incumbent out of the state senate. After the next election cycle, I was proud to say there wasn't a single defer left in the New York State legislature. We took them. Every closing school became a media nightmare for the mayor. But our mayor was a great... Our mayor was a great foe. He was arrogant and stubborn. We took his approval rating, as I said earlier this year, from in the mid-70s for education. By the time we were done with our campaign, it was 20% approval rating on education. We shifted resources in the union. We cut tons of spending and put it into community organizing. We hired full-time organizers. We did events that no one could even have imagined. Whatever the community wanted, we did not go to them and say, this is what public education, we need your help, they're trying to kill us. We said, what do you need? Tons of things where we're homeless. Economic inequality is growing in New York City. It's still sad for me that even up till this day, when I first started as president, there were 11,000 children in homeless shelters. There are now 58,000 children in homeless shelters in New York City. That's what Michael Bloomberg's policies do. So it was more about engaging them. But now we're on the other side. And this is a new area for us. Our campaign works. But now, I have members who are upset with me. We have a contract where parents have voice inside of my contract. How do we feel about that? Not about due process or any of those issues. But if you want to change how your school schedule goes, you need parents' permission. And I have members who are saying, why do parents have a say in a contract provision? And that's something we have to own. If we're going to be serious about this, then we got to figure those things out and get our members ready for that. You heard on the thing this afternoon about the mayor talking about pros. What he didn't tell you is, a school can't go into it, forget about the membership vote, which is 65%. I agree, unless you have a large portion, you don't do it. But you can't even get to that unless the parent leadership of a school signs off on it. So we're dealing with a little bit of that controversy. And we're telling our members, those parents stood by our side. We had laws in our state, and we knew that our mayor was trying to provoke us to do things to break those laws. And he had a bevy of lawyers ready to kill us through the judicial system. And those parents stood with us. And if you're not going to be real, it's great if you're there fighting for their school, they love it. But when we get through it, and I am happy we're on the other side, and I hope I never got to get back on the other side with the fight. But you never know, because they all want my mayor dead. But you got to do something real for those parents. Those parents are very happy that we gave them that right inside of our contract. First time ever in the history of the United Federation of Teachers that parents have rights inside of our contract. And we're now dealing with our members who are upset about that. So if we're going to have this conversation about community organizing, we're all mad about education, correct? Yeah. Right? We'll debate tomorrow about Arnie Duncan. I think it's simple. I think we shouldn't waste a damn breath. He's irrelevant, and we should just leave him that way. We'll probably debate tomorrow for 2 hours. Whatever, great. I'm not getting involved. I could care less. We're mad about that. But if we're really going to move our country and education forward, we have to have real relationships. Real relationships with the community. And when we have chance, we have to be able to take that extra step. Just as we just did, where we told parents, you have rights inside of a teacher's contract that you have never had before. And that to them said, you said, if we stood with you, you would be there for us, and that you your union, your members have kept your word. And that's what I think the next step is after this fight.